and I'm going to show Hustler magazine, Larry Flint, because everybody knows that he was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, March the 6th of 78. It was later that I was flown out to Hustler, October of 83, twice, to his home. He was helping me in a campaign. I'd never met him. I just knew that his shooting was done through mind control and patterns. And it was Lawrenceville, Georgia, and I was living in Marietta, Cobb County. This was sent to me by Malcolm Barber. He's an FBI agent out of Atlanta. He said Larry Flint was scared to death. He didn't know where I was. Well, I've never seen him, and they sent me this by FedEx and then called me, so they knew where I was. But Mr. Flint mentions Larry McDonald and the name Murphy in here that's important, because some of the Murphys, like I was updating the other day, Audie Murphy, I was thinking in Googling, I couldn't Google back then. I think this is, anyway, I'm not sure this is even, I've made so many, it's not doing me any good, and I'm tired with what's happening to me. But let me just say this. I wrote about mind control and murders done in patterns, and I think I was trying to, my video's gone out, so excuse me. I don't have all these luxuries of other people. But, so I don't know. I'd have to go back and rewind the ones I've done or upload them and see where I'm at. So let me just say this. Back in 71 and prior to then, that's when Audie Murphy, the plane went down up here in Virginia. I never knew I was going to be up in Virginia right next door to where the plane went down. I didn't know I was going to be living on the Appalachian Trail, starving and freezing. And in 71, I didn't know I was going to be out at Larry Flint's home, and he was going to be shot, and I was going, or had been shot, and I was going to tell about mind control murders in a book I tried to write about it. So I'll make it short. Audie Murphy, that was 71. His plane went down. Now I'm going to go back to just prior to Larry Childress. The name Larry or Lawrence County, Moulton, Alabama is where I was taken. Montgomery County is where the birth certificates of the twins, and I was given the name of a twin. I was kidnapped in 41 and brought over to Moulton, Alabama. I didn't find out about my kidnapping and real name till later in 83. So the Lawrence has been used, or Larry, and I can go on from there. It gets, you wonder who's put it all together, really. But Larry Childress was a barber. Now you got Malcolm Barber, the name Barber. He's an FBI agent. I met him in Atlanta. Now then, he's called me from Hustler magazine after 83. Flint had furnished me a car for a year. I never saw him again or spoke with him. This was mailed to me in an apartment I had been able to get briefly in Falls Church. So they knew where I was. They sent this to me, and he was calling me, and he said he was Malcolm Barber. And I said, well, you're FBI agent out of Macon in Atlanta, and he said yes. But he said he was calling from Larry Flint's, Larry Flint's. So anyway, Jack Hartsfield, God help me, I don't want to get Jack or anybody in trouble that tried to help me. But Jack told me, he saved my life. He was a reporter, an FBI agent in Huntsville in 80. And he told me that he also would visit Larry Flint and meet with him. He didn't tell me what they talked about, but this is later, after 83, that he lived out there in a suburb of Los Angeles. But what I wanted to get to on here is, I've already tried to put it up here, and I can't really, mind control and radicalization. That's what they're saying the San Bernardino is, that, and this is a process that doesn't even, you have a choice in that. You don't have a choice in mind control, how it's done. They teach you the Morse code, and I knew nothing about this until I worked for doctors who put a chip in Dixon Produce chairman, and Dixon was a big thing back then. produce. And I found out I was working doing books and insurance and stuff there at for Forsyth, McCoy, and Kuchar. And they knew I was doing the book. They knew I was Xeroxing and doing it and everything. So, But anyway, he had put a chip into the heart bypass of chairman of the board of the produce company. And I started finding out while I was doing the book, starting to do the book and doing the book that about mind control, subliminal, but it gets much more than that. You can teach someone the Morse code. Using the Morse code, they don't even know you're getting it. So how in the hell are you going to stop yourself in programming? If you knew you'd been programmed, you went to a psychiatrist, he'd lock you up even though he knew the truth. You tell me why they haven't told the truth in the James Holmes and they're feeding him psychotic drugs. You don't give a psychotic drug if someone's got cancer. Get my point? All this is going down to taking your guns in the end, and if you don't like it, you're haul ass off to the state, and where they'll make you wish you were dead. Anyway, I want to go back to this before it goes off. I was Googling trying to get to the definition of radicalization, which they're using so much, and mind control. And I came to this, and if I ever get to speak, it'll have to be because the feds in Great Britain made it happen. Let me say that. Hypnosis has been used to sexually abuse young women. I Googled that. I already knew that, and I've put it up on YouTube some 2 years ago, probably, when I spoke in 1980 about Carl Smith. I don't know if that's his real name. He was sent there 5 years before they almost killed me, April the 1st of 80. And a few months later, I'm over there working for the District Attorney Simpson, living at Warren House Apartments. This is where Carl Smith lived, FBI agent. He told me he had lived across the street from me at Normandy Apartments in Marietta, and I believe him. He showed me pictures of 4, I can't remember now, or 5 children. Only one belonged to him and his wife. And he told me he had, they're hypnotized and mind control used. They don't even know it's happened to them. You can be told to open your door. So all these security things that you've got codes for, if you're programmed, you can forget it. You'd open the door and invite them in, and it'd be wiped out of your memory. He told me he had had sex with a Oklahoma Miss America. Now, I don't know, use your own. She was runner-up. So I know who it left in my mind it was, and she didn't even know it. So anyway, that document was released about the CIA. So you wonder how widespread. You don't have to have a psychiatrist or a doctor rape you, and that's part of what I was writing about in the book MD, A License to Kill. So you can imagine me putting this up right now. Anyway, I put it up about Audie Murphy going down. It's next to the Catawba, which I didn't realize I was going to be here in Atlanta. Excuse me, I'm tired. In Roanoke. I also did, and especially next door to Audie Murphy, where the plane went down, and I told about it way back then when it happened. I just didn't have the terminology. Now then, that's been this whole thing. People are programmed, and it mimics mind control. Mind control mimics some mental illness. They can make it happen. Mind control, a person doesn't know they're getting it. They don't have a choice in their actions. Radicalization, they do have a choice. So it's just a term cover-up, and everybody wants to buy it. So I don't know anything else I can say other than I didn't know I was going to end up here when I was out at Mr. Flint's, and he showed me the galley proof of Jerry Falwell parody. This Reverend Falwell, I'll give him his reverend. It's something they've never given me respect. But he's next door in Lynchburg. He's deceased now, but it was the parody. He was a reverend at Liberty University. And Mr. Flint did the parody, and it ended up that Reverend Falwell